Now, you spent decades in one home and it's easy to feel attached, but staying put in retirement, it does come with some hidden traps that you may not have considered. Hey guys, I'm Jerry Pincus, your real estate expert, and I'm here to help you to avoid those pitfalls that are costly. So in this video, I'm actually going to break down the 7 hidden traps of not relocating in retirement and why staying put might not be the best move for a happy retirement. So without further ado, let's jump in. Now, number 1 is healthcare access. Now, as you get older, good healthcare is going to be really important. And it's one of the first things that you want to think about when you're deciding on where to live, because this can make a big difference on how healthy you're going to be. And if your town lacks that good hospital or specialists that come with age-related conditions like heart issues, and you might have to travel further for basic checkups. And it's even worse during emergencies. Moving somewhere with better healthcare actually means that you're going to have good access, reliable emergency care when you need it, and treatments that you'll need down the line. So some places, they have excellent healthcare systems while others just don't. And if you haven't experienced that yet, you really don't want to have the don't experience, right? So if you're currently in an area with limited options, you may ultimately pay the ultimate price. Or staying put, you could end up paying more for your medical care as well. Now, one thing that you need to keep in mind is that coverage may vary depending upon where you live. So you can't just assume that everything's great. Make sure you do your homework and you compare options to the different locations. And number 2 is the weather and the climate. Now look, as we get older, we all know that weather is important. Weather is more than just being comfortable. It affects your health, your wallet, and how active that you're actually going to be. So if you live somewhere with really harsh winters, like lots of snow or it's colder, you're not going to do much in the winter. You're going to hibernate. But if you have super hot summers, it can be much more dangerous to your health as you get older as well. So you got to balance this stuff out. Now, these kind of weather problems are harder to deal with as you get older. And I know because I've experienced some of this too. Now, you probably want to retire somewhere where you can be active all year, where the weather isn't a health risk and where you don't have to spend a fortune on heating and cooling. Because many retirees like places like the Arizonas, the Carolinas, or parts of Florida because they have mild winters and fewer weather problems. But you can be outside more in those winter months. But if you stay somewhere where there's extreme weather, you might get stuck inside more and pay huge utility bills, and you also have trouble keeping up with things like shoveling snow, or if it's Florida, you might have problems with hurricanes and other issues. Number 3 is social isolation. Now, in 2023, AARP did a report, and it showed that nearly 1 in 3 retirees struggles to maintain social connection. It's kind of interesting, right? Everybody kind of goes their own way. And this can be a potential lead to a serious health risk in the long run. If your friends and family have moved away, or if there aren't many ways for you to meet people where you live, you could start to feel isolated. So having a good social life in retirement is just as important as having enough money. It's going to make a big difference on if you're happy or not. And if you don't see people regularly, I mean, I get it, some people don't want to see anybody, but it is easy to become lonely, which can affect both your mental and physical health. And moving to a place which it's easier to connect with others, like a community for older adults or a town where there's more people that are like-minded, or a town where you can walk around and find lots to do, or a state with lots of retirees, these are all things that will significantly improve the quality of life. So relocating gives you a chance to be a part of a lively community, and it's easier to stay active and explore new things as well. But one thing that you may want to consider, and people don't consider, is that things do change. So your current community may not be the same right now as it used to be. You know, what's going on? Are businesses closing? Are people changing? Are the families moving in? Are there fewer people your age? What's happening in your area? So these things you need to think about when you're considering relocating. And number 4 is the high cost of living. Now, sticking to an expensive area in retirement, it can drain your savings a lot faster than you might think. Now, property taxes, utilities, healthcare costs, these are all wildly vary according to where you decide to move. But if you're on a fixed income, most people are when they're retired, every dollar will count. So for example, retirees in New Jersey will pay over $9,000 a year in property taxes. Meanwhile, states like South Carolina have big tax breaks for retirees, and it's actually the 5th lowest in the nation. Now, they also have no tax on Social Security and generally a lot lower taxes on a lot of other things. So the problem is you're forever home with this mortgage and property taxes, if you have a mortgage, and maintenance and insurance is costing you, $20,000 or $30,000 a year just to keep it going. That's money that you could use for travel or hobbies or better healthcare or lots of other fun things that you want to do in retirement. And those costs will only go up over time, making it harder and harder to stay where you are. So this is why relocation is a positive thing. Relocating to a more affordable state and even downsizing within your current area, it can help too, because some states, they'll freeze property taxes for retirees, or going to a big house or a smaller apartment. It can make a difference on your maintenance and your housing costs. And number 5 is taxes. Now, how much of your retirement income do you actually get to keep depends largely on where it is that you live. So it's not just about the state taxes on Social Security, which is a big deal, by the way. Some think it is, some people think it's not, but you'll need to think about the overall tax picture. Now, for some example, Florida, it has no state income tax, but trust me, a lot of people whine and complain that they'll get it in many other ways, and it's a lot more expensive to live there. So New York, Chicago, New Jersey, a lot of places, a lot of big cities are more expensive. Now, for example, some states might have no income tax. It sounds great, right? So when they hit you with those really high property taxes because they don't have a state tax, like Texas, for instance, or they have a really super high sales tax. So if you want to look at New Jersey, for instance, their property taxes are over 2%, meaning, again, you're looking at over $9,000 a year for the basic house. But states like South Carolina, again, they're taking advantage of not taxing those other things. However, Florida, Texas, as I said, those places, you need to compare the overall tax burden, because it's not just about the tax, it's the combination of all the things of keeping your overhead low and what's it actually going to cost to live. What is the cost of living? Now, additionally, you need to keep in mind the hidden costs, the things like rising sales taxes or gas taxes. How much is gas? Some places it is less. Or new local taxes. These can really add up over time, and they'll drain your savings, and you may not even realize it's happening. Relocating to a tax-friendly state, it could mean keeping more of your money for, again, your travel or daily expenses or fun things to do. So even within the same state, moving to a different county or a different city with lower property taxes and lower costs can actually make a huge difference in the long run. And number 6 is housing. Now, your housing needs, they change with retirement, because what you used to need, you probably don't need anymore. Things do change. The larger home means larger utilities and constant upkeep, and it's getting older, so things do break and they probably have to get replaced, right? Maybe even expensive changes to make things easier to get around as you get older. So things like climbing stairs or mowing the lawn or fixing stuff around the house, it can be, that stuff gets tiring and expensive because you usually have to pay somebody else to do this stuff. So beyond the maintenance, accessibility is the other issue, because older houses just aren't designed for us as we get older a lot of times. There might be steps at the entrance or narrow doorways or no grab bars in the bathroom or places where you need them. These things can be a real problem, and it gets harder to get around, and it gets harder, right? It doesn't get easier. So changing an old house to a newer house, making it more accessible can cost some money, but even at that, it might be the best solution in the long run. Again, downsizing to a smaller house is easier to manage and a good place where retirees enjoy life. It's the lifestyle and the finances. And like I said earlier, things change. You can always look at how much money you have in your bank account, but you can't always see how long you're going to live. So you need to consider these things now, because later in life, it's harder to make these changes. Somebody will end up having to make the changes for you, maybe even. So again, your needs now will be different 5 years from now or 10 years from now. So you need a home? Think about it. Do you need the home office? Do you need the guest room? How important is it to have a big yard versus, being close to amenities and things that are fun and restaurants and things like that? How close are they, or how far away are they? And these are the questions you should actually ask yourself. And that's why it's better to start that process earlier, so you have time to research different options and find the right fit. Number 7 is personal fulfillment. Now, staying in the same place might feel comfortable and easy, but it also can get boring because you get into your same old ritual. So you won't experience many new experiences, and life will start to feel a little bit more repetitive. So moving to a community that has a lot more recreational activities, it can make your retirement more enjoyable. It doesn't matter if it's golf or hiking or art or cultural events. Myrtle Beach, South Carolina has 80 golf courses. I don't play golf, but it's a thing. People like to do stuff, right? But if your current town where you are doesn't offer all kinds of other opportunities, it might be time to think about where your life is going and what's important to you. Maybe you want to be closer to family. I understand. Maybe new things you're passionate about, or maybe you just want to have a better quality of life. So again, if you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe button, because there's a lot more videos here on this channel that are like this. Go ahead and comment below, because I want to know where you are in your life and what your plans are and what you're thinking about. So if you are thinking about buying or selling a house in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, or anywhere else in the United States, my team is here to help you. Just pick up the phone, give us a call, 843-839-9870. We will hook you up with that local real estate expert, no matter where it is that you're looking. Someone that can help you find a hidden gem and guide you through the process and avoid those pitfalls that are costly. Just want to make sure that you're getting not average, but way above average. I'm Jerry with Jerry Pincus Real Estate Experts. Again, we've been doing this for over 20 years. I just want to make sure that you are making smart decisions. So until next time, stay happy, stay educated, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care, guys.